What you say happens. After delivering a speech on behalf of an outstanding doctor, I saw Lanny backstage. He grabbed my wrist. Ashley, I'm sorry. Can you listen to my explanation? I pulled my hand back, seeing only indifference in his eyes. Is it important? Ding. Wisnavel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. His face was defeated, choking up and almost unable to speak. Ashley, you can't treat me like this. Even criminals have a chance to testify. You can't just sentence me to death like this. I calmly looked at the face I used to love. The predetermined ending won't change just because you say sorry to me, and I won't forgive you just because you explain. He still didn't give up. Don't I have any chance to make it up? Does it matter? When you said that you pursued me to disgust Eddie, there was no future between us. I thought for a moment and continued. Perhaps I played along with you with a bit of revenge in mind, creating those happy memories you mentioned. I endured it with a trace of expectation for you for so many days, but you still couldn't let it go. You just wanted to embarrass me by running away from the wedding. Lanny Murray, what else is there for us to say? I don't owe you anything. I owe you. Lanny explained urgently, the bloodshot veins in his eyes becoming more prominent. I owe you. That's why I came to find you. I didn't run away from the wedding that day. I had already decided that you were my bride, the only bride in my life. In the past, when I read novels and saw the female lead accumulate enough disappointment and leave, I would eagerly anticipate the scenes of the male lead chasing after his wife, feeling that the male lead regretted, felt guilty, and realized the importance of the female lead, which was the greatest punishment for him. But now that this plot is happening to me, I don't feel the same intense desire for revenge as I imagined. Perhaps it's because compared to my genuine emotions that I invested, their feelings of regret, they really aren't worth mentioning. Our relationship had already ended 3 years ago. Just leave. Lanny didn't leave. He bought the apartment across from mine and moved in. And he came to my school every day. He shamelessly followed me for half a year, with a mindset that he would stick with me for the rest of his life. Sometimes I got angry and scolded him. Lanny, stop pretending to have expired affection, okay? His eyes immediately turned red. Ashley, I beg you, please don't treat me like this, okay? I shouldn't have been so mean with my words. I shouldn't have said those things to hurt your heart. I shouldn't have thought about running away from the wedding and embarrassing you. I do love you. It's just that ridiculous pride made me unwilling. I know I was wrong. Please, don't reject me. I remained calm inside, and even found it somewhat amusing. Lanny, you're really quite boring like this. I continued to ignore him, but what I didn't expect was that Eddie Flew somehow heard about his situation and followed him here. Sometimes I felt that the two of them were truly meant for each other, both having a theatrical personality. In my past life, I might have committed heinous crimes to end up encountering these two lunatics in this life. On Christmas Day, both of them invited me to celebrate together. I agreed. I wanted to clarify everything with them in one go. Lanny booked a restaurant, and when I stepped inside, it was filled with camellia flowers. The happiness on his face was genuine, but when he saw Eddie appear behind me, his expression instantly drained of color. Why are you here? Eddie sneered. She invited me. I placed my bag on the table and lifted my chin. Both of you, have a seat. Ashley, Lanny called out to me. Today, let's clear everything up here once and for all. We've known each other for 18 years. We're all 30 years old now, so let's not play these childish games anymore. I looked at Eddie. I appreciate the light you shed on me when I was helpless. Maybe I only liked that light and not you. When you didn't respond and did get tired of me, I let go of that liking. So Eddie, I don't owe you anything, and I'll tell you this. Your obsession with me now is only because that obedient and timid girl has grown up and no longer needs any protection, and yet she doesn't revolve around you. It's just your unwillingness. I'm not a toy for you two to gamble with, so Eddie Flew, leave. It's better for both of us. Eddie looked at me silently, then turned and left. As I watched his figure recede, for a moment, it felt like I traveled through time and saw myself at 12 years old, hiding in the bathroom, injured and feeling inferior. But this time, it wasn't him who saved me. It was me finally learning to resist. It just took quite a long time, but it's not too late, right? Ashley, I know you have loved me before, and you truly loved me with all your heart. Lanny seemed to have realized what I was about to say, his face filled with pain. My feelings for Lanny were perhaps a bit more complicated. I paused for a moment and said, regarding Lucia. He urgently explained, I have never loved her, nor have I been involved with her. I nodded and said, yes, you just wanted to vent your feelings of dissatisfaction towards me, especially as the wedding date approached. You felt more and more frustrated. I'm not lying to you. During those 5 years we were together, I experienced happiness, pain, bitterness, and sweetness. It was the feeling of being in love. I once thought about spending the rest of my life with you, but sometimes in life, it's hard to predict what will happen next. I heard those words, and I acted with you. I took revenge on those things you wanted to retaliate against me with, and I retaliated fiercely against you. Stop talking, Ashley. 18 years, you want me to give up? How can I give up? Lanny choked back tears, and they fell down his face. How can I make you forgive me? Please tell me. I sighed. We've been entangled for too long, and we can't find happiness. Besides, just like that wedding dress, once it's torn and can't be repaired, making a new one won't fit. right? That's the ending between you and me. I stood up. So, don't come looking for me anymore. I can't bear your love. I won't turn back either. He painfully grabbed his hair. The future is so long. Won't there be a chance for me? I looked at him and smiled. Lanny, did you receive the painting from your favorite artist that I sent you on my 23 years old? He was momentarily stunned, and tears finally streamed down his cheeks. We have absolutely no relationship anymore, right? I didn't say anything. Turning around and leaving was my answer. If it's missed, then it's missed. I might occasionally feel pity, but I won't have any regrets. As I closed the door, Lanny was still standing there motionless. But I knew everything had come to an end. Lanny Murray side story. The day before the wedding, I felt unusually restless for some reason. A message popped up in the group chat on my phone. Lanny, are you still getting married tomorrow? Give us a heads up, bro. Yeah, we're going to witness the fun and record Ashley's appearance. It's bound to be exciting. I kept opening and closing my phone, but Ashley didn't send a single message. I started to feel anxious. I sent a message in the group chat. Do brides usually not contact the groom before the wedding? Bro, none of us have been married. How would we know? But generally speaking, the bride would definitely be too excited to sleep and would want to have a video chat with you, right? Not necessarily. What if she's shy? Lanny, by asking this, are you implying that you want to get married tomorrow? Do I? During this time, all the things I did with Ashley kept replaying in my mind. My heart skipped a beat. A clear voice told me that I wanted to marry her. I wasn't playing around. I was serious. After all, I had given my heart for all those years. I wanted to see her wearing loose pajamas, sitting on the carpet and watching movies. I also wanted to hear her pout and say, I can't cook. Lanny, can you help me? And most of all, I wanted to see her snuggle up in my arms, blushing and calling me a pervert because of a sweet nothing. Vibrant, lovely, and beautiful Ashley Green. In our shared home. I wanted to be with her forever. With that in mind, I called her, but it went straight to voicemail. Something felt off. I asked in the group chat, and they said she was probably too tired and went to sleep first. After all, getting married is a big event. Maybe that's it. I posted in the group chat. I'm getting married tomorrow. None of you are allowed to not show up. Aren't you running away from the wedding, bro? I turned off my phone, thinking about how beautiful Ashley would look in a wedding dress. It's just a pity that the custom-made wedding dress got ruined, but it doesn't matter. She'll look like the most beautiful bride no matter what she wears. I want to put away all those little schemes and dissatisfaction and live a good life with her from now on. The atmosphere at the wedding was eerie. I can't quite describe the feeling. All the procedures were going as planned. The host was on stage, but I was absent-minded. I didn't see Ashley. My heart was beating fast, as if something big was about to happen. When the host said it was time for the groom to say something, I suddenly woke up. There was no such segment, but the surround sound system had already started playing. I almost couldn't stand, trembling uncontrollably. It was the words I said on the cruise that day. I was too deliberately disgusting Eddie to pursue Ashley. I got her, but then I felt bored. But I'm not willing to give up, so I'll run away from the wedding and embarrass her. I assent that fun? The venue erupted in an uproar. Then videos started flashing on the big screen. The girl kissing me, even though I managed to avoid it at the time, was caught on camera. She posted the hotel room number where I went in on social media, and there was footage of me entering. She said she wanted to commit suicide, but I just tried to talk her out of it, comforting her because I was afraid she wouldn't give up. As fellow wanderers, I understood the bitterness of silently loving someone. And there was the photo of her crying while hugging me at the hospital entrance. That was when she decided to give up on me, and I couldn't bring myself to push her away. We didn't do anything, really, but for some reason, my heart felt like it was breaking into countless pieces at that moment. Ashley knew. She knew all along. She knew I didn't want to get married, yet she still stubbornly played along with me. Suddenly, all those memories we had together came flooding back. She had given me so many chances, and now, she had finally gathered enough disappointment to leave. Lanny Murray, you let her down. You really deserve to die. I got into a fight with Eddie. Yuri's such a monster. He punched me in the face. I was also filled with emotions and retaliated fiercely with a punch of my own. What kind of scum are you? Eddie sneered. Yeah, I'm not a good person. I coveted her. I missed out on a good girl for 10 years. I regret it. So what? Lanny, do you know how envious I was of you back then? I never had her. I hurt her. I thought you were different, but you turned out to be such a jerk. She was with you for 3 years, not 3 days, and you treated her like this? I sat dejectedly on the ground. I couldn't imagine what she felt when she heard me say those words. She must have given up on love, silently running away from the wedding. She didn't leave a single word for me, but as I stumbled away from the wedding scene, I received a gift that was custom-made 3 years ago. It was painted by my favorite artist. In the painting, there was silence. A slender girl, crouched on the ground, tears filling her eyes as she looked up at the boy holding an umbrella. That was us at 23. It was painted on the day we confirmed our relationship at 25. After 3 years, it finally reached my hands. There was a sentence written on the card. This is a gift from 23-year-old Ashley to future Lanny. Maybe at that moment, I heard the sound of a heartbeat. I held the painting, unable to speak through my tears. Would 23-year-old Lanny want to kill 26-year-old him? I became the laughingstock of the whole city. They said my bride ran away during the highly anticipated wedding, leaving behind 2 men fighting over her, and neither of them were any good. They said a jerk like me shouldn't have gone after her in the first place. I didn't listen to anyone. I desperately wanted to see her again. I searched the entire city, but couldn't find a trace of her. Finally, I understood the despair she must have felt when I disappeared and she tried to find me. It was as if she purposely erased any trace of herself. No one knew where she went. I tried to find information, but all I got was a reply. Sir Murray, please don't make things difficult for me. Yes, she had already started preparing to leave when she heard me say those words. How could I possibly find her? It was my fault. True departure doesn't involve a big scene, but a quiet disappearance. Ashley Green, she really gave up on me. When I realized this, a bitter feeling started corroding my heart. I returned to the bridal chamber. There was no trace of her presence left. It was intentional. She deliberately didn't leave me a single memory. She ruthlessly cut herself off from my life. She was truly heartless. I searched every room. Finally, I found something she left behind in the study. It was the gift I gave her, all shattered. She wanted to draw a clear line between us using this method, to tell me that she despised the things I gave her. And there was that wedding dress we had custom made in Italy. There was a long scratch on it, from the waist to the hem. I remember when we went to have it made 6 months ago. She was so happy, dancing around, saying that she finally found this designer. She said she wanted to be my most beautiful bride on our wedding day. Her eyes were filled with starlight back then, but for the sake of so-called face, for the sake of my unwillingness and revenge, I hurt the person I loved, hurt her true feelings. Many times, I understood that Ashley's feelings for me were genuine, passionate, and she wanted a future with me. We had countless nights of passionate love, saying the most beautiful words, saying that we would be together forever. But I lost her. My ridiculous pride made me insanely jealous, just because she had feelings for someone else. I forgot the most beautiful memories we had together. In those wedding preparation diaries, there was proof that she loved me, but now they felt like sharp knives stabbing my heart. As I flipped through them, tears flowed uncontrollably. I held the wedding dress tightly to my chest. In the empty house, only my tears fell silently. I wanted to spend the rest of my life making it up to her, but she would never see me again. I started drinking heavily and not going home, using this method to numb myself. I told everyone that I was married, that I had a beautiful wife. I had liked her for over 10 years before finally marrying her. I often cried and laughed while looking at our chat history on my phone. They all said I was crazy. I'm not crazy. I just miss her too much. Lucia came to find me again. I didn't see her, but she wouldn't give up. Finally, she seized the opportunity to come to the bar and confront me. Lanny, what are you doing? What am I doing? I'm drinking. After Ashley left, I lost all interest in everything. I dare not go back to that house. It's filled with memories of her, but without her presence. Drinking is the only way to release the pent-up emotions, to find solace through indulgence. Lucia, go away, okay? She walked up and hugged me. She wasted so much of your time. Why don't you look at me? I love you. I risked everything to love you for 10 years. My eyes and heart only have you. I'm much cleaner than she is. Clean? I pushed her away fiercely, but my eyes felt a bit sour. I couldn't sleep well. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ashley's shadow. I thought that by getting revenge on her, I would feel a sense of pleasure, but I didn't. I only felt a heartache that made it hard to breathe. From the age of 12 to 28, 16 years. I actually lost her. I regret it so much. I really regret it. Without warning, I covered my face and broke down crying. Lucia tried to come closer, but I lifted my head and looked at her coldly. If you don't want to disappear from this city, then leave. And also, the support from the Murray family for you ends here. That night, I returned to the marital home I shared with Ashley. I lay on the floor of the study, hugging the wedding dress tightly. 3 years later, I received news that she had graduated with a PhD. Without hesitation, I flew over. I wanted to see her, to apologize to her, but she was distant and cold towards me. It felt like she really didn't love me anymore. I didn't believe it. We had loved each other for so many years. How could she just stop loving me? So I stayed, hoping to win her back like before. A good woman fears a persistent suitor. As long as I lowered my stance, she, being so soft-hearted, would see me, right? But she really didn't want to see me. Later, Eddie Flew also came. I had let go of my resentment towards him. Looking back, I realized how ridiculous my jealousy was. It was just that Ashley arranged for us to have a conversation. 18 years of feelings. She said she didn't want them anymore. I finally understood that both Eddie Flew and I had lost. I was the one who fell in love first, the one who won her heart, but I lost completely. And then year after year passed. Every year, I would fly to England multiple times, just hoping to catch a glimpse of her from afar. When I was 35, I saw her holding a little pink bundle, sitting on an outdoor chair. The sunlight kissed her side face through the clouds, and the little girl's eyebrows and eyes resembled hers. In the distance, a handsome and tall man bought an ice cream and handed it to her. She smiled, still so beautiful, but she didn't belong to me anymore, no longer. When I turned my head, I saw Eddie standing behind me as well. He was just silently watching them. After a long time, the three of them disappeared on the street, and then Eddie spoke. Ashley shouldn't have known the two of us. He glanced sideways. Lanny, when you were jealous of me before, did you ever think that one day I would be jealous of you? But in the end, neither of us held her hand. I sighed softly. Eddie, we are both bastards. Only bastards don't deserve love. For the rest of my life, I only hope that she is safe, joyful, and happy in a future without us.